Welcome back to the Sales Mama podcast, the Sales Mama show. We started a YouTube show in addition to this podcast series. So whether you are watching this here on YouTube or listening in on Apple or Spotify or some other device, I mean, I'm just about everywhere now. So that's pretty cool. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I figure if I'm recording this, I might as well just hit play and have it on video too and slap it on there on YouTube, because I feel like, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a podcaster, and somebody else out there might be able to use these videos. So today, what I want to talk about is the overthinking trap and how to stop second guessing everything, because it just wastes so much time, so much energy. And we're already doing so much, especially those of us who are moms, who run a full, homestead, farm, ranch, or even if you don't have all of those things, just between kids and chores and work, there's so much to do. And then we overthink things in our business on top of that. And so today, that's going to be what we're talking about, because it is very real right now in my life. And I know if I'm struggling with it, I'm not the only one. Okay. And so half the reason that you may be overthinking in business specifically is because you are already making a million other decisions. And typically you're making all those decisions before 9 a.m., before work even starts, before, the kids are out the door, before, school starts. And it's, did I feed the dogs? Did the kids eat? Did I pack lunches? Did I start that load of laundry? Did I start that load of dishes? Who's feeding the chickens? Did I close the rabbit hutch? Who's taking who to practice? What am I going to cook for dinner? Is the laundry ever going to leave the dining room table? Is that just me? And by the time you actually sit down to work, you're fried. Your brain is just fried. And then you're stuck wondering, okay, should I post? What should I post? Should I post about like the raw and the real stuff? Should I post like straight business stuff? Should I follow up with this person? Should I not follow up with this person? Should I let it go? How many times should I follow up? But I've already followed up this many times. And you start to spiral, right? And then maybe you go out to get water from your kitchen, and then you see that your kitchen's dirty and you're like, oh, should I clean the kitchen? And so then we move from task to task to task to task to task, overthinking and overanalyzing the entire time. And maybe part of this is some ADHD tendencies. I don't really know. I hate to have like those quote unquote diagnosis for some of these things. Even though I've been told many a time by many people that I have lots of ADHD tendencies. I don't have any sort of official diagnosis. I am not one for any type of, labels, we shall say. I actually did an energy coach reading with a gal this morning, and it's like this numbers energy reading. And one of the characteristics of one of the portions of the reading, she was like, and this here says that you are a rebel. And I just start laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's me. She goes, when somebody says go left, you go right. I'm like, yep, that's me. So it naturally, if somebody tells me something, I have to, do the opposite. Okay. So anyways, if this at all sounds familiar, if you're the one that's kind of already exhausted before your day even starts, this episode is going to feel like a deep breath, a breath of fresh air, because I want to break down exactly why overthinking is draining you, draining your sales, and how to shift into simple, sell like a mother, CEO moves that actually bring in clients, even when life feels like total chaos, like a total shit show. Okay. So part one, what is the problem? Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. There's a few different problems. Okay. And so running a business while running a household, that in and of itself causes so much decision fatigue. It's like constant decision fatigue. And this is where, and I know my husband does not deal with this to the level that I deal with this. Women have this constant multitasking, multi-thinking. Our brains are just go, 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 go all the time. It does not stop. And I've even asked my husband, I've asked other men if they experience this. Zero. Very, very, very rarely do men think about multiple things at multiple times or worry about all these things at different times. It's just, it hasn't seemed to be an issue for them. But with us, we're thinking about business. And while we're thinking about business, we're also thinking about kids, and we're thinking about our animals, and we're thinking about chores, and we're thinking about the future, and we're thinking about social media. And it is constant, 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 constant. And it is like trying to blow up a balloon that has a hole in it. It is just a constant energy leak, okay? And that is a problem. The next thing that I want to talk about is not just the business decisions, but all of, the little decisions within the home too. And sometimes they're little and sometimes they're big, but this can be like meals, it can be schedules, sports schedules, doctor's appointments, bath time, school projects, it could be the chores, it can be cleaning up around the house. If your house is cluttered, sometimes that in and of itself can cause so much mental fatigue and frustration, and that can drain your energy as well, because you will then start to feel angry and frustrated, and sometimes you'll lash out on those around you. And a clear space equals a clear, calm mind. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is by the time that you actually get to sit down to do the business, your bandwidth may be just gone, and you sit down. It's kind of like writer's block. I don't know if any of you have written anything like a blog or a post or a book or anything like that, but you've already done so many things before 8 a.m., before 9 a.m., before 10 a.m., whatever time, it is that you sit down to work. You go to sit down and it's just like a blank stare. You're like, what am I going to work on? What do I need to do? And you almost feel kind of empty. You almost feel numb. And this is, like a coping mechanism, right? It's where you have so much stuff to do, then you go take a nap. It's the same thing with business, right? You have so much to do that you sit here and you end up scrolling through your emails, scrolling through social media. You don't end up doing anything really productive, okay? And so what you end up doing, after you've kind of done, your doom scrolling, essentially, you do end up mustering up the energy to maybe send a follow-up, maybe schedule a post, maybe record something. But when we do this, since we've already drained a lot of our energy, we are second guessing it. We're like, ugh, do I look bad? Do I sound bad? Do I blah, 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 blah? Is this going to land? Is that going to land? I mean, even before I was recording this, I'm like, shit, I know I need to put out some content today. And for me, consistency is key. It's about creating the momentum, right? And so when I go long periods of time without creating consistent, content like podcast and YouTube videos or any type of video content, it just gets easier and easier to not do it, right? It's like working out. Like once you get in the groove of working out, you almost enjoy working out, right? It's like that adrenaline thing. You like begin to enjoy it. It's the same thing for content with me. It's like, oh, I look forward to doing it, and I do it and I get it over with first thing in the morning, But if you don't do it for periods of time, it becomes easier and easier and easier to not do it. And then it actually becomes very, very difficult to get back into the habit of doing it. So then you start the second guessing, you start the spiraling. Should I message this person? Should I not message this person? Do I follow up with this person? Do I not follow up with this person? What is the purpose? Who am I to do this? And we start all of those spiraling negative thoughts, and it really doesn't get us anywhere. And so why does this happen? Why does this happen? Well, sometimes it can be a little bit of self-sabotage, right? When we busy ourselves to the extent that we keep ourselves stuck. Okay. And then it's that like self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, well, I told you that I was so busy, or I told you that this wasn't going to work out. And you're telling yourself that you're not going to be successful because of all of these other things. Oh, see, I told you, blah, 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 blah. And so whether you're aware of it or not, you may be consciously or subconsciously self-sabotaging. There's a book out there called, it's like Upper Limits or something like that. I'll see if I can find it and put it in the show notes. But anyways, basically what it is once we start to brush up against what our limits are, we become so uncomfortable that we start to do things to bring us back down to what a normal level is. Even if that normal level is not safe, it's totally chaotic, it's wild, it's messy, because that is what we are used to. That's what's normal for us. This is why people go back to abusive relationships. This is why people go back to broken homes. This is why people go back into debt. You know, there's so many reasons why people will self-sabotage, because it is normal to feel that shitty, that when they start to feel good, they're like, the other shoe's going to drop, the rug's going to get pulled out from underneath of me, right? And so you start to do these things that create these patterns that then make things chaotic. They make you have the decision fatigue. They make life insane and miserable. Okay. The other reason why this happens is there's just so much decision overload. Perhaps you are, like myself, the default everything, right? You're the CEO, you're the default parent, you're the default, breadwinner, you're the default cook, you're the default chore person. You do most of the things, and I'm not saying that my husband doesn't help. Excuse me, he helps a lot, but he also works outside of the home. I work in the home, and I work a lot, right? You know, I would say I am a workaholic. My default is to work, which is why I'm such an advocate for not burning out and working smarter, not harder, and working less hours in the day and scheduling time for yourself and your family. Because I am that person. I would work 100 hours a week if you'd let me. I'm just like, let's go. Like I have that crazy energy about me. I could just work all the time. But that's not healthy. That's not sustainable, right? Anything in large amounts is not going to be healthy for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It's everything in moderation, including work, right? And when you have the right systems and processes in place, you can make just as much money and more money and working less hours, right? And I'm proof of that. So, anyways, when you have decision overload and you are the default, all the things, it can be very, very, very overwhelming, because it's like you're saying yes and no to this, and you're planning this, and you're saying yes and no to that, and then you're planning that. And I have 4 kids, so that I'm also making, not only decisions for myself, but then all 4 children, and then all of the animals as well, depending on, if we have farrier appointments, if we have vet appointments, if we have to take the dogs for walks, if we, all of those things. And so you're carrying the mental load of all of those people and things, and it can be a lot. It can really be a lot. Okay. Another reason why this can happen is because we have fear around getting it wrong. Okay. Business can feel like high stakes. And so we may be risk averse. There's some of us who have higher tolerance for risk than others. Like I have a really high risk tolerance. I'm a very risky gal. In all of my personality tests, I'm very much like the challenger, the adventurer, make shit happen entrepreneur type of person, right? So my risk level is a little bit higher than maybe say yours or somebody else's. Okay. And so you have to assess what your risk level is. And if you have a lower risk level, then you may have a high fear of getting things wrong. And so it may take you some time to, work yourself up, hype yourself up, to act on something, to move on something, right? So posting, emailing, sales calls. If you have a low risk tolerance, sales calls can be I mean, frightening for people. I mean, like, I'm talking sweating bullets, panic mode. Like, it can be the end of the world for some people. I've actually worked with several women, lots and lots of women, where they have said, if I could just outsource all of my sales and all of my marketing and I could just show up and do the thing that I'm good at, like, that's what I want to do. And the good news is you can outsource all of your sales and marketing, but you have to get to the place where you are so profitable that you can hire those people. Okay. So just the sooner you get to that profitability place, the sooner you fail forward, the better off you will be. And so there is this, I believe it's Mel Robbins. I used to be a big Mel Robbins fan like years ago when she had the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. And so that's something that you can take away from this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do the thing. Because I promise you, people are not thinking about you as much as you are thinking about you or you are thinking about them. And sales is a service. Okay. So by you not following up with them, by you not posting, you are actually keeping your hidden talents, your beautiful gifts to yourself when there are people out there that need you. They need your products. They need your services. Okay. So you have to get over yourself, get over your ego, and just go post the thing. Just go do the thing and stop fearing that you're going to get it wrong. Because I'm going to tell you what, sometimes you're going to get it wrong, and that's okay. We are all human and we all fail. And if you have anybody that's going to like backlash you, there's this really cool thing called block. And I'm a big fan of it. Block. Just block them, right? You don't even have to read the comments on some of those things. Like, there's some people who just come out of the woodworks and they have no idea who you are and they just want to write some nasty comment and it's like, fuck you, see you later, right? Block. So just get over it and just do it. The faster you do it, the easier it will get. You have to put in the reps to get stronger, okay? And then the last thing that I want to talk about on why this happens, why we have such an issue with overthinking and second guessing is perfectionism. Okay. We wait for the right time, the right moment, the right opportunity. And you and I both know that there is never a perfect time. There's never a perfect time. Or if there was, the perfect time was 10 years ago, right? The perfect time was yesterday. The next perfect time is now, okay? There's no perfect time in the future. What I tell my clients is, if you think about it, do it right in that moment. If you're thinking about it, just do it right then, right there, write the first thing that comes to mind, say the first thing that comes to mind within reason, right? Like, if somebody pisses you off and you want to say fuck you, like, maybe don't say that. But like, if somebody pops into your mind to follow up with them, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to follow up with that person. Or if you have an idea for a post or an email or a blog or a podcast, maybe make some time for it right then or later that day or within the next 24 hours to run with that idea. This is what I would call inspired action. Okay. And when you have those inspired action moments, you need to take advantage of those moments, not wait for the perfect time to then go and do the thing. When you have inspired action, you actually get more done in less time because your energy is high. You're not really overthinking things. Okay. And you can actually double down and get way more work done. Because when you're in inspired action, what I tell people is, if you're really feeling it, go ahead and write another blog, go ahead and write another post, go ahead and schedule another podcast, right? So create space in your calendar for those inspired action moments because there's never going to be a right moment. And you need to put time in your calendar for your follow-ups, for your sales calls, because without sales and marketing, that is the lifeline of your business. Okay. And if you do not have time for those in your calendar, you won't have a business for very long. You're just going to have a very expensive hobby. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be happy with that. That's going to equal more anger, more frustration, more overthinking, more rumination. It's going to continue with the spiral that we do not want. Okay. So again, don't let perfectionism or the right moment, the right time, all that stuff, even if you have kids, chores, chaos, like we all have the things going on, right? I mean, even just like last week, about a month ago, my daughter broke my other laptop. I had a MacBook Pro. It was only a couple years old, pretty solid, computer. It was, a couple grand, and cracked the screen. I'm talking like just straight down the left side of it. And I'm like, fuck, like I don't want to buy a new computer. And then a week later, my husband dropped my phone, shattered my screen. I'm like, you guys, you gotta be kidding me. And this phone is, again, 2 years old. So Apple Care just ran out on both of my devices. And this is my perfectionism kicking in, because I'm like, I have to have working devices, right? And that's completely true. I work from home and I need to have working devices. But I felt like I needed them immediately in that moment. And that is not true, because they're both functioning in that moment, right? Well, anyways, I'm limping along with my laptop for about a month. And on Friday, this past week, my laptop actually took a total shit. Like, I'm talking the whole screen went out. It was completely blank. And I had to go get a new laptop. I had to figure it out. And so that caused such a spiral for me. I should have, again, there's no right time. There's no right moment. It was like, right now, you have to figure it out right now type of thing. Total chaos, but we do it. You just do it, right? And I went ahead and ordered a new phone because I don't want that to happen, with my phone now next. So anyways, now let's go ahead and reframe this whole thought process so that we don't get stuck in this negative loop, okay? Because you don't need more hours necessarily. I know we always say that. Oh, if I had more hours in the day. Well, maybe not. Like, we don't necessarily need more hours. We just need to use our hours differently, and we need to make fewer decisions, okay? We need to start delegating a little bit more. And so first, we want to simplify our business moves, okay? So what I want you to focus on first, because I find that so many of my clients get hung up on this, and even I get hung up on this. And so I've challenged myself to post it, even if it's not perfect, every single day for the rest of this month. So the first thing that I want you to do is post every single day, even if it's not perfect, okay? Done is better than perfect. Done is better than overthinking. And the more you do this, the stronger the muscle is built, and you will be so much better off posting a mediocre post, a C-rated post, a B-rated post, versus waiting for an A++ one time a week piece of content, okay? So whatever comes to your mind that day, talk it into ChatGPT, tell it to reformat it, pick whatever freaking photo comes up, even just take a selfie. Like, who cares? Post it even though it's not perfect, and I want you to show up consistently for the rest of this month, okay? Perfectly imperfect, just do it. The next thing that I want you to do is follow up with your people, even if you're unsure, okay? Even if you're like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, follow up with value. Hey, I was thinking about you. I wondered if maybe you would like this episode and, want to listen to it. Or, hey, I saw this article and it made me think of you. Or, hey, were you still thinking about growing your business? Hey, were you still struggling with hormones? Hey, were you still thinking about purchasing this thing? Blah, 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 right? You can send them freebies. You can send them podcasts. You can send them YouTube videos. You can check in on a project that they said that they were doing. Whatever comes to mind, I want you to follow up with people. And most people give up after the second follow-up, but you're not most people. I want you to follow up with people 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. Follow up until they say stop or unsubscribe, okay? That's how many times you should follow up, because people will tell you when they are not interested, and that is on them, okay? Because if they opted in for something, they are interested. If they are not interested, they will unsubscribe or they will say stop, all right? They are big girls, they got big girl panties, and they can tell you when they no longer want something. And so the more touch points you have with somebody, the more likely they are to move forward in the process, okay? And multiple touch points can be messaging on, Instagram, Facebook, emailing, it can be direct messages, it can be phone calls, it can be multiple different things, all right? But you want to stay top of mind, because if you're not, and all of a sudden one day they're like, hey, I really need this problem solved, and you aren't the first person they're thinking of, guess what? They're going to go buy from Susie Q down the street or Joe Schmo down the street, and that's on you because you weren't following up with them, okay? Don't be that guy. The next thing that I want you to do is sell the offer you already have, not building a shit ton more, because what ends up happening is I work with women and they're like, what if I tweak this offer? What if I make this offer? What if I do this offer? No. Look back at what you have sold in the last 6 months. What has already worked and how can you double down on that? Okay, you can improve that offer, enhance that offer, reframe that offer, but we're not going to create more offers until you are selling out of the one that you already have. Okay, sell the offer that's right in front of you. Stop making more work for yourself and building it up in your head that you need to have this and this and this and this and this. No, sell the thing that's already working for you. And then when you start to sell out of that, oh, I think my dog just throwing toys across the living room. When you sell out of that, then you can focus on doing more products or services. Okay. So you're going to put everything through this CEO filter, essentially. All right. You're going to ask yourself this: does this move me closer to revenue or relationships? Okay. Relationships meaning like your family, your friends, your colleagues. Hi, Molly. Something like that. And if yes, we're going to do it. And if not, we're going to let it go, move on. Okay. So what I want to leave you with today is that overthinking kills more sales than any bad post or, awkward follow-up or, anything like that, right? Overthinking kills so much momentum in any of your sales and marketing, any of your visibility, any of your publicity. And so we need to just kill that overthinking with more action. Action. And I want you to know that your clients don't need you to be perfect. They need you to show up consistently. Think about the last people that you invested in. Were they perfect? I mean, I've had people work with me and they're like, I worked with you because you were real. I mean, shit, my dog just came in here. I mean, I've ran workshops before where my kids come running in and they're like, I started working with you because your kids ran in. And it was not planned that way, but it just happened that way, right? And so be yourself, because chances are by you being you, by you being authentic, people are going to be like, yeah, that's my gal. I like her, right? And so when you show up consistently as yourself, that's actually going to attract more people to you than trying to be this perfect facade of yourself that's actually really just a shell of a human, okay? And then I want you just to get in there and start following up with people, even if it's messy, even if it's weird, even if it's awkward and you're like calling people and you hang up, or, you just have to put in the reps, okay? There was this saying that I saw on social media somewhere, and it said, if you're 30 failures away from success, the level of success that you desire, how fast would you fail? And so that's what I want you to think about your follow-ups and your sales calls. You're only 30 failures away from killing it, from knocking it out of the park. So get the messy stuff out of the way, get the awkward stuff out of the way, role play, join a group, hell, join Sales Mama School, reach out to me. I would love to work with you on this type of stuff. This is exactly what I help folks with. So practice, because the sooner you get all this under your belt, the better off you will be with your follow-ups and your closes and your conversions. Okay. Now, if this is hitting home and you're like, holy smokes, I'm done spinning out on what I need to do and when to do it and how to do all the things, I want to work with you, okay? I have opened a limited number of these free Sell Like a Mother strategy sessions. I typically have about 6 spots on my calendar each week. These are 45-minute sessions where we will go over your biggest block. We'll simplify your sales process. And I want to build out an action plan for you, like an actual plan. You'll walk away with 3 action steps that you can use right away. They are 1 per person. Spots tend to go pretty quick. I'll put a link to my calendar here. So grab yours, lock it in, and I can't wait to connect with you on that. I love, love, love connecting with you guys. And then if you are looking for more than a call, if you're like craving a space for, adventure, horses, a place to like reset and just breathe and map out your next level without any distractions, I opened up my Sales Mama Retreat. It is in April of 2026. April 16th through 19th. And this is exactly where you need to be. This is going to be 4 days of strategy, clarity, space to think, surrounded by women who get it, who are also going to their next level. I will put details in the show notes for that as well. You can also book a call on my calendar or retreat connection call to see if this is for you. Freaking love retreats. I host about 2 per year. And I would love, love, love to have you. You also leave with a 90-day game plan on that. So you have support while you're there. We have some one-on-one time while we're there. And then you'll leave with a 90-day roadmap and a follow-up call after that as well, in addition to a pre-retreat call. So anyways, overthinking your sales energy, overthinking your sales strategy, overthinking all of that just steals all of your energy, your joy, your ability to get shit done, okay? And it minimizes your overall revenue in your business. I want you to know that you do not have to do it all, okay? You just need to focus on the right things with the right energy and get more off your plate. See if you can delegate anything, see if you can automate anything, and take more action without overthinking, okay? So book your strategy session, check out the retreat, and let's get you out of decision fatigue and into momentum. All right. Have a kick-ass day. Go out there and make some money, and I will catch you on the next episode.